The problems of figure collecting. Hello everyone, I'm Polen and welcome. In this video, I'll be talking about the problems that every anime figure collector has to face. If you haven't seen part 1, you can watch it now or after you've watched this video. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description below. Now let's start with number 1, things breaking off. Anime figures are pretty fragile. If you move a figure and drop it on your floor, there's a chance that something might break off. Or with figures like Nendroids or Figmas, where there are a lot of parts that you can swap, if you're not careful when changing parts, you might accidentally break something. This isn't maybe a common issue, but it also isn't uncommon. I've personally been very lucky because I've once accidentally dropped a figure, a Nendroid to be more specific, from over a meter's distance, and luckily nothing happened to it. But I've seen plenty of people online that have either dropped a figure or accidentally broken off a piece of a figure. So it's always important to be careful. If you're moving a figure from one place to another, just hold the figure safely. If you're putting together a figure or changing some parts, just take it slow and don't use too much force. Sure, it happens sometimes that not all parts of a figure fit nicely, and sometimes you do need to use some force, but don't go all out immediately. Manufacturers nowadays almost always use soft plastic for things like hair and sometimes small details to keep them from breaking. But still, accidents do happen. If something breaks off on a figure, the best way to fix it is to just glue it back together with something like super glue, especially if it's a small piece. And if a replaceable part breaks, like for example a neck joint on a Nendroid, you can of course replace it with a new one. I'm going to leave a link in the description to a website with an instruction on how to remove and replace a broken neck joint. Now let's move on to the next issue with figure collecting. Number 2. Figure availability and pre-orders. Anime figures aren't like other products. For example, if you want to buy a video game, you can just buy it online whenever you want. Wanna buy some Lego set? As long as it's not very old, you will be able to find what you're looking for in multiple stores. Want to buy a book? No problem. But with anime figures it's different. Anime figures are collector items made in limited quantities. If you want to get an anime figure, you pretty much have to pre-order it, because not many figures are available after their release. And if a figure is available after its release, either as a pre-owned or at a store like Solaris Japan, they are often overpriced a lot. So if you want to get an anime figure for a normal price, you have to pre-order it, at least a few months, maybe half a year or more before a figure's release. It depends on where you pre-order your figures. Some shops, like for example Good Smile Online Shop, has a pre-order period, often around a month or two. And within this pre-order time period, Good Smile Online Shop will accept all pre-orders. But after this time period when pre-orders close, almost all figures become unavailable in that store forever. But other stores, like for example AmiAmi, have instead a limited amount of figures that they will have in stock. This means that pre-orders will be open until they reach the limit of the figures that the store will get. The upside to this is that if you're late and pre-orders are closed, there's always a chance that someone will cancel their pre-order and the figure will be available again. Anyway, when I first started collecting figures, I didn't like the idea of pre-orders, and it was very annoying for me that I can't just buy a figure I like and get it within a few days. But after some time, I just had to accept that if I want to get a figure, I have to pre-order it at least a few months before their release. This next issue is kind of connected to figure availability and pre-orders, but I decided to talk about it separately. Number 3. Store or region limited figures. There isn't a lot to say about this, it's just stupid and very annoying that some figures are limited to one region or available in only one store. I buy most of my figures from AmiAmi, some from Good Smile Online Shop, and occasionally from other stores like Hobbylink Japan or Solaris Japan. So I always get annoyed when I find out that a figure I want to get is limited to one store that I don't use, or is region limited to Japan or China. Because the only way to get a region limited figure is by using a proxy shipping service, and that adds additional cost. Number 4. Shipping and customs tax. There are a few problems with shipping. The first one is the amount of time it takes for a package to arrive. Cheaper shipping options take weeks or even months to arrive, and if you choose a more expensive shipping option, it should take around a week for a package to arrive. But since early 2020, due to our world situation, even packages sent via EMS take sometimes months to arrive. But a bigger issue than shipping time is customs tax. It's always annoying to find out that you have to pay extra for something you already paid for only because it was shipped from outside of your country. How much you have to pay in customs depends on where you live, and some countries have additional taxes like GST. I'm from EU and I'm going to talk about my experience. So I've used DHL once to ship one scale figure, and I've also used FedEx once to ship one Nendroid, and I had to pay customs both times, even though the packages were small and not very expensive. So now I'm only shipping with EMS. I'm never going to use DHL or FedEx again, and if you're from the EU like me, I advise you to also use EMS. Sure, for very big and expensive packages with multiple figures, you'll have to pay customs even if you ship with EMS, but you won't have to pay any customs for small and medium packages. But like I said, if and how much you'll have to pay in customs depends on where you live. Number 5. Price. I've already made a separate video discussing if anime figures are worth their price, and I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. But I decided to list price in this video as a problem because no matter if a figure is worth its price or not, figures are expensive. Nowadays a Nendroid costs on average between 5,000 and 6,000 yen, 1/7 scale figures are between 12,000 and 20,000 yen, and some 1/7 scale figures cost even more. And prices on 1/4 scale figures are starting to go over 30,000 yen. Now, there are of course cheaper figures like prize figures or Good Smiles Pop-Up Parade line of figures, but most figures are not cheap. Figure collecting is an expensive hobby, and sometimes it might be hard to afford all the figures that one might want to get. So if you haven't started collecting figures yet, but are planning to start a collection, it's probably good for you to know that it's an expensive hobby. If you're not sure if figure collecting is for you, then I would advise you to start with prize figures, or Good Smiles Pop-Up Parade figures, or Nendroids. And that's everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Thank you very much for watching, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you liked the video, please give it a like, and tell me in the comments if you wanna see a part 3. I'm posting a new video every week, so please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my anime figure unboxings, reviews and other videos. Also, if you'd like to see pictures of my figures and Nendroids, you can check my Instagram, link in the description.